Hello, this is Melissa, your insurance exam queen, and we are here on this channel to help make sure you can pass your insurance exam with ease and confidence.
What is it called when a person fails to disclose known facts when filling out an insurance application? So you know it and you're choosing not to say it. You know it and you're choosing not to say it. This is what we would call concealment. You are hiding it. You are withholding it. You are keeping it. And that is concealment. So concealment is when I know a fact and I'm not willing to share that fact. I'm keeping it quiet. So our answer here is concealment. Now, impersonation, they're just throwing that in there. That's not an insurance thing. We don't even talk about that. Estoppel is about waiving a right and trying to get it back, unrelated to this question. Aleatory is an unequal exchange. And this is something I want to point out to you too. A lot of times people will see impersonation and go, that's the right answer because I've never seen that word in my studies. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing I've seen people do. They don't know a word or they don't know an acronym and they hyper-focus on it. And they're like, oh my God, I don't know what it means, so it could be the right answer. No, if you don't know what it means, it's one of the three things they have to put in to make it, they have to have fillers, right? They have to have fillers. So when you have four choices, three of these things could be completely made up. Aleatory action isn't even a thing. Aleatory is, but not aleatory action. They're just throwing you off. They're just putting in fake words, even fake phrases. Okay, so when you see a word that you never studied, you see a phrase that you never studied, it's not one of the right answers. It's just not going to be one of the right answers. Okay, so if it's not one of the right, if you've never seen it, if you've never studied it, if you see an acronym, you see a word, you see a phrase, and like, I don't know what that is, immediately make it wrong. It's not going to be the right answer. Okay, let it go. Estoppel. Yes, estoppel is an insurance word. So what estoppel is, the best way to explain it was, okay, if I when you're filling out an insurance application, your job is to answer all of the questions. Let's say that you leave one of the questions blank. Now, that's different than concealing. Concealing would be hiding it. You would still write an answer, but you would put like a wrong answer. Estoppel would be like, I'm leaving it completely blank. If the insurance company takes that application and issues the policy, they have waived their right to know that answer. And if they come back at you and they say, hey, we issued you this policy, but you didn't fill out this answer here. We need to know that answer. You can go, estoppel, no. Estoppel is your right to say, wait a minute, you waived your right to that answer when you didn't require that I fill it out. So another way, I think if we were to do a real life example, let's say, with my daughter, I set a curfew. So you need to be home at 11 every night. You need to be home at 11. And let's say one night she comes in, it's like 11:05, and I don't say anything. Hey, honey, glad to see you. Next night she comes in, it's 11:20. I don't say anything. I mean, I see her. I know that she's late, but I don't say anything about her being that late, right? Next night she comes in, 11:45. I say nothing. Hey, honey, how are you? I acknowledge that she comes home. It's clearly 11:45. I say nothing. So whatever. The next week, she comes home at midnight. I start screaming at her. You're home at midnight. Your curfew is supposed to be 11. What are you doing? What is my teenager going to say to me? Well, you didn't care when I came home at 11:45. You didn't care when I came home at 11:05. You didn't care all last week. So that ain't my curfew anymore. When we accept that someone breaks the rule and we lose our right to have that rule again. Okay. That's what waiver and estoppel is kind of saying. So waiver is waiving the right. If I let her come home after 11, let her come home after 11, let her come home after 11. When I try to reinsert 11, she goes, estoppel, you can't take that right back. You've already waived it. You've already waived it. So estoppel is the legal process that you can go through to say you can't take it back. Another example of waiver and estoppel would be if the insurance company always accepts your very late payment. So let's say you never pay your premium. You always are like 30 days late on your premium, and they always accept it. So let's say one month you're super late, you have an accident, and they go, we're not covering the accident. You're past your due date. You say, but I always am past my due date. You always accept my payment. So you're going to wait until I pay my payment, and you're going to cover me. And they would have to cover you because of estoppel. They can't reinsert their right. If they always waive the fact that you're super late, they can't reinsert and say, well, it had to have been paid at this time. All right, so hopefully that helps. So estoppel, waiver is waiving the right. Estoppel is stopping them from taking the right back. That's what estoppel is.